Ever heard the saying, it's not about the destination, it's about the journey? Someone famous, someone who's really, really successful said, the real tragedy of life is not failing to get what you want, but it's getting everything that you want and realizing that you're still not happy, right? Welcome, Star Boy. Imagine if you got everything that you wanted and you still realize that it doesn't really change anything. Life still sucks. But I would say maybe that's not the real tragedy of life. Because if you got everything, you do have more options than a person who has nothing. So maybe the real tragedy of life is not getting anything that you want. Because you will spend your whole life thinking that if you got what you wanted, you'd feel better. But you don't get to feel better. That's what truly sucks. And that's what's proving to me that we are in hell room. There's a reason why the saying it's not about the destination, it's about the journey is very popular. That saying is popular because it's true. There are a lot of people in this world who have tried so hard to be happy by trying to obtain material things, thinking that the pain will go away. I remember J. Cole on a song called um, Middle Child. He said, I love you, young. This I'm glad that you came, but I hope that you know that money will not erase the pain. It's like the pain will always be there, no matter what. It doesn't matter what you achieve. You could become exactly what you want to become, but the pain will still be there, and it will still feel the same, right? It will be the same kind of pain that you felt when you had nothing. It's not like it's gonna change. But what's better is that now you have options. Now you have enough resources, right, that you can use to cope. But it does get to a point where those resources don't even work anymore. It does get to a point where you have enough resources, but you don't know what to do with them anymore. You're tired. What really sucks about life is that we can never truly be okay in this place. No matter how hard we try, we can never truly be okay. We can never truly feel the way that we want to feel. We all want to be happy. We all want to feel like this is all okay. We all want to, we want to be in this state of mind where there's no fear, where there's no pain, where there's no suffering, where there's satisfaction. You're truly satisfied. You're satisfied with what you have. But we weren't built like that. We weren't built to be satisfied. We're built to always seek for something. That is why no matter what you get to have, think about it. People now are living like kings. Back then, when the things that kings used to have back then, people who are poor now, they have these things. I mean, yes, of course, kings were in a better position because people worship them. But when it comes to just things that you can have, things that you can own, people actually own the things that kings had. But still, there's no happiness, there's no satisfaction. Uh, they're still seeking, that feeling of seeking something, that feeling of, if I got what I wanted, I'll be fine. Remember when you were a kid and you wanted a lot of toys, right? You were still young, you wanted toys, and your parents got you the toys that you wanted, but still nothing changed. I mean, at first, yes, you felt better, you felt happy, you got the toys that you wanted, but then after some time you are bored, right? You're bored again, and it goes back to how it used to be. What do you do with that? Like knowing, what do you do with knowing that you could never truly be okay? With knowing that the pain will never really go away, like it will always be there. Moments of joy are there, but they are temporary. But the pain is always there. Pain is not temporary. It's like pain is the only thing that's real. Like it feels that way for most people, maybe for all of us. So the pain is always there, you know. Maybe this pain that's there is trying to tell us something. Ever try to examine your pain? Why do I feel the pain that I feel? Why does it never really go away? No matter what I get, no matter what I achieve, it's still there. What's causing it? What if what's causing this pain is something deeper than what I think it is? What if I'm feeling this pain because there's a part of me that remembers where I'm from, and I'm lost here, and this part of me is like, you're not home. This is not it. It's a hell room, man. If it wasn't a hell room, true happiness will be possible. It will be possible to achieve true happiness. I have paid attention to too many people, the people that you admire, bruh, the people that seem to have it all. And I'll be like, I wanna see what they post on Facebook. I wanna see what they say um in interviews. You know what I mean? Um I wanna hear what they're saying on their songs. I wanna see how they, deal with people in their own lives. And you listen to them, you watch them, and you realize that nah, they're not happy. Some of them are seeking for attention too much. When when you experience happiness, even though it will be like for just a moment, you don't even want attention. It doesn't matter. Like nothing matters when you are actually happy. Nothing really bothers you. You're not gonna be desperate for attention. You're not gonna be desperate for approval. None of it matters. But you find that these people are desperately looking for attention. These model women that you want to be like. They be posting on Facebook all the time. Every time when they buy something, they be posting, "Oh, look at what I'm eating. Yo, I'm in this hotel." You realize that there's no happiness. A person who's truly happy don't want to prove anything. You understand? It's like if you were truly rich, you've been rich all your life. You don't gotta prove anything. It doesn't. You don't feel like proving that you're rich. It sucks that no matter how hard we try, we never truly become happy. We never truly get rid of the pain. It seems as if there are demons that are chasing us, and these demons never stop chasing us. You know, they've been chasing us since childhood, they've been chasing us since we were growing up. The pain is still the same. Ever realize that the pain that you felt when you were a kid is the same kind of pain that you feel now? Some people will say, well, what if you stop wanting then? What if you stop wanting? It doesn't mean that if you stop wanting, the pain goes away. You could stop wanting. You could decide that I don't want anything. I don't want anything anymore. I'm done. I'm done with this realm. The pain will still be there. In fact, you'll be committed to not wanting because the pain is still there. So you're running away from pain. You know what I mean? And it will seem like enlightenment, like, oh, that's real enlightenment. Not really. I mean, it's like you have so much power when you do not want, but that's not enlightenment. It's still proof that you are still in a hell room. You just realized how much the hell realm is causing suffering for you, and you decided to detach yourself, but the pain is still there. It would be like if you were in a relationship that was toxic and you said, you know what, I love this person, but this person is not good for me. I'm cutting all contact, staying away from them. The pain is still there. The pain never really goes away. It's still there. Even if you forget that person, but there will be some things that will remind you of the pain. Like what happens is that, and this is what sucks. If what's causing you pain is your relationship, you decide to leave your relationship, somehow something else will cause you that pain. It's like the pain is not supposed to be gone completely. What do you think is actually causing this pain? Because you know that as sentient beings, we don't want to feel pain, especially if it's not necessary. Humans want to experience happiness, they want to experience joy. That's what human beings want. That's what everyone is fighting for. When we make decisions, we are trying to experience happiness, bro. Every decision that you make, you're trying to experience happiness. You are trying to run away from pain. It's like you're trying to run away from something dark that's been chasing you. When it's very close to you, you feel it. You feel it. You sense its presence. And you trying to make sure that it doesn't cover you. Sometimes it does, and when it does, you feel so horrible. You know, you become depressed. I think that's the best way to explain depression. It's like you're trying to run away from this dark shadow. You're running away from it. Sometimes you're able to run away from it fast enough that it doesn't. It's so far that you don't sense its presence, right? It's like it's not there. But then maybe something slows you down, and when it does slow you down, that shadow gets closer to you, and you fight to make sure that it doesn't catch you. This reminds me of this episode of oh shit, forgot the name of the episode. I mean, forgot the name of the series because I haven't actually watched the series. Someone just recommended, actually from here on YouTube. Actually, someone recommended that I watch that episode. I think it's a series about dreams or something like that. Every episode is different. So on that episode, this guy, the main character, was being chased by this being, right? And in the whole episode, he's trying to run away from it. This being was moving slowly, trying to catch him, but he will be running away. Please remind me if you know the name of the episode, because I think this was a brilliant episode. He's trying to run away from it. He's trying to free himself. So that's life. It's like we're trying to run away from this dark shadow that brings pain. We want to make sure that it doesn't cover us. I would say it covered me in 2018, and the feeling that I felt was unreal. I still can't believe that a human being can feel the way that I felt in 2018. I still cannot believe that because I had never felt like that again, and I had never felt like that. You know, when people talk about depression, you feel like your lowest point in your life. That's when you felt depressed. You never know real depression until you felt what I felt. I don't know if it can get worse than that. And when you reach that level, anything is possible, right? Like you could do the craziest shit that no one can explain when you reach that level. Like you could do. That's why I cannot blame people who end up like you know you know what I wanted to say, but yeah. So we all trying to run away from this shadow, and that's our lives, right? That's the story of our lives. It's us trying to run away from this shadow. What sucks is that some people are covered by this shadow. Some people cannot run fast enough. Some people are kind of like far away from it, so they forget that this shadow exists, but it's still there. It never goes away. It never stops chasing you. Your whole life, you are being chased by this shadow until your life ends, and that's the game of life. We can't say this is not a whole room if our whole lives we're trying to run away from this shadow. We can't say that because we can't just chill and just be happy. You can't just decide right now that let me be happy and then you are happy. you know you'd listen to these spiritual gurus lying to you, telling you, oh yeah, well, to be happy you gotta do this, you gotta do that, blah 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 blah. And you realize that it kind of does work but not really. Like There's no real solution. Because even if you did have it all, let's say you won $5 million, you think the pain will go away. You never feel that way. Shit, I want $5 million. I can buy whatever I want, but trust me, that shadow is still chasing you. That shadow is finding its way into your life. So maybe that 5 million will take you much further. So the shadow will still, like, it knows where you are all the time, so it will still be chasing you. But then you're still gonna face problems. I remember Biggie said, "More money, more problems." So don't know you face problems. Some people trying to unalive you, some people trying to betray you, people coming into your life because you have money now. You know, you got businesses that be failing, all that. This shadow, like, it gets much closer. Like, whenever you deal with a problem, and that's why I've been telling y'all. There's a video that I'm gonna publish after doing this live. Where I'll be talking about how important it is to actually try to control your emotions, right? Like, try to think thoughts that don't make you feel down. Like, the battle should be in the mind. Like, it shouldn't really be about, like, getting the things that you want and all that. Like, it should really be in the mind. Because no matter what you have, this shadow will still be on its way to find you. Remember this song by Linkin Park, sang by Chester Bennington, called "In the End." Like, I tried so hard and got so far, but in the end, it doesn't even matter. It's like, yeah, you thought that if you do a lot of things, if you fight hard, if you try to reach success, then it will all be okay. But then in the end, none of it matters. In the end, you're still facing the same problems. You're just facing these problems in a Lambo. You're just facing these problems in a big house, in a large mansion. But it's the same problems. You see, life always uses the same things to bring us down, right? It uses the same things to bring us down. No matter where you are in life, no matter who you are, it uses the same things to bring us down. I know people whom everyone admire, kind of that, like, everyone, they're admired by everyone, and who seem happy until you get close to them and you have real conversations with them and you realize that they have a lot of problems. And even if they don't have a lot of problems, but you could see that they're barely coping. Sometimes they have to keep it together because people think they got their shit together, right? There are a lot of celebrities that you follow that have to keep their shit together because y'all think they got their shit together, so they don't want to be embarrassed. They don't want you to look at them differently. It's like if you're dating a girl and you know beyond any reasonable doubt that if you truly told her how you feel, let's say you have problems, you are not okay. If you truly told her that you're not okay, you got problems, she would leave, or her attraction towards you will deteriorate. So you just have to pretend, you just have to keep it together, whether you're okay or not. So that's kind of like how it is with most of these people that you admire. They just have to pretend as if it's all okay, even if they're not okay, even if life sucks for them. We never truly get to win. That's the problem in this room. You think it's about reaching the finish line and it will all be wonderful. And remember, I gave you this example of Tyson Fury. Like he always wanted to beat this guy since he was an amateur, and then he started fighting professionally, and he ended up facing that guy. Fought with all his heart and ended up winning. But after winning, he went through depression because he told himself that after beating that guy, it'll all be good. Like it'll all be well in his life. Like I have won in life because I've beat the guy that I always wanted to beat. But he realized that nah, he was lying to himself. Like that's not how it works. You could get what you really want. Like what do you want right now? You could get it and still find yourself um feeling the way that you feel, even worse for a moment. Because when you feel these emotions that you want to feel, then like whatever goes up must come down. There's those who drink alcohol, I think they know this. If you ever drink alcohol like the whole weekend, like you drink on Friday, you drink on Saturday, you drink on Monday, I mean on Sunday, right? Saturday, I mean Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. On Monday, you're gonna be depressed. I think they call it, I think they might have a name for it, like post alcohol depression or something like that. I don't know what they really call it. But the reason why you feel depressed after drinking a lot is because you felt these emotions, right? You know? So now you must, whatever goes up must come down. It's same thing with people who are on drugs. Like they'll be taking all these drugs and they get high and they're happy, but then their lows are gonna be low, like really, really low. Their lows are gonna be lower than your lows, right? So when Tyson Fury won, he felt truly happy. Like he's standing on top of the world. He's the heavyweight champion. That fight sold. Like he's rich. He made a lot of money, but then the shadow had to find its way into his life, and it did. And he felt so damn low. Realized that it was all a trap. No matter what you get to have, you are never truly happy. You are never truly happy. You might be very broke looking at someone who has money, like looking at someone like who's rich, who has everything that you want, and you think they're happy. You find that the truth is you and them on the same level of happiness. Like, you know, that a little happiness that you get to experience, that's what they experience. Like they're so used to everything that they have that it means nothing to them anymore, right? It will mean the world to you at first, but they're used to all of that. So yes, having a lot of things helps you cope, and we all want to cope, right? So hey, it's like if you were fighting with someone and you had a lot of weapons, like that's better than if you are fighting them without any weapons, right? So yeah, having a lot of things is better, but it doesn't mean that you don't have an enemy that you're trying to fight. It just means that you have enough weapons because um you are in a position to have all these weapons. So maybe you're in a better position than a person who doesn't have these weapons at all, because maybe they only have to use one weapon to fight. But in the end, we're all fighting the same battle in a world that we never truly we're supposed to understand, right? Like we never truly get to understand. We never truly feel at home. We never truly feel like it makes sense. And I don't care who you are, man. Like if you are a conscious being, I think there's always that feeling that something isn't right. Like if you are a conscious being, like no matter how they brainwashed you, I think there's all that feeling will never go away. I think that feeling is coming from a real place. You know, we might say, it's it's anxiety, it's this and that, but it's coming from a real place. Something inside us knows that something is off, right? Something inside us knows that no, 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 no. It will be like if they created a simulation of a prison and trapped you in that prison. I do have a feeling that, oh, let's just say they even were able to wipe off your memories completely and they trap you in that prison. They don't even call it a prison. They tell you that it's home. It's where you are. It's where you're supposed to be. They told you that, yeah, you got to live inside these walls. That's life. There's nothing outside of these walls. There's nothing outside of this reality. That's it. If they trap your consciousness inside that kind of a prison, there will be a part of you that will be like, nah, this can't be it. You know what I mean? And that part of you will try to call for your attention through pain, right? That part of you, that wisdom inside, you might think it's not wisdom, but it's wisdom. Like that wisdom inside will try to call you through pain. Like, pay attention to me. Something is wrong here. Don't you see? Look at how you're being treated. Is this like, try to envision an ideal world? Do you really feel like this is an ideal world? Like, this is the best that a world can be? Think about it. You are living behind these walls. There are people who are telling you when to sleep, when to wake up, what to eat, when to eat, when to chill with other inmates. I mean, you wouldn't be calling them inmates, but when to chill with other people, when to have some form of entertainment, when to work out. Something is off. Like that, there's that part of you that will keep on calling for you. So that's why we all in pain, right? Something is telling us that, nah, man, nah. They lied to you, and we don't want to accept that as truth. For some reason, we don't, like, most of us don't want to accept that as truth. So if you try to make people realize that that feeling that they feel is something that's real, that's inside them, that's trying to let them know that there's something wrong. If you try to let people know that, they go against you because of how they've been brainwashed. You see, since we're children, we've been made to look at life a certain way. So if you look at life that way that they wanted you to look at life, that you go against everything that's real, right? Because they want you to go everything against everything that's real. When you look at the way that the world works, you realize that we're supposed to work against our our true our freedom, basically. Like, you're supposed to go against yourself. You're supposed to betray yourself. You're supposed to sell your soul. I love when people be making videos about celebrities selling their souls. Okay, Jay-Z sold his soul. You're like, you also sold your soul. What do you mean they sold their souls? Because at the end of the day, we all doing things that we don't want to do just because we're trying to survive. So really, can we say those celebrities sold their souls if we also doing what we don't want to do in order to survive? Think about it. We grew up having to go to school. We didn't want to go to school. I don't know that many people actually wanted to go to school. You know, you go to university, you study things that you don't even want to study. Sometimes you'll be studying and you'll be like, what the fuck? So I'm supposed to memorize this? I don't even agree with this nonsense. I remember when I was in grade 12, um, they gave us this book of life science where we had to study theory of evolution, Charles Darwin, and all that. I was like, I don't even agree with this shit. So I have to memorize this shit. Like, ask me what I think, motherfucker. Don't give me things to study. Like, I don't agree. Can you imagine someone like me having to memorize some shit that's someone wrote, someone that I don't agree with, someone that I would debate with? So we find ourselves having to memorize things that we don't even want to memorize in order to live in this hell realm. That's selling our souls. We just have this tendency of like pointing fingers at others. Human beings are so good at that. It sucks. We are so self unaware. Yeah, I have to put it that way. You're so self unaware that you're unable to see your own flaws. Like, you could blame a person for doing the same thing that you are actually doing. That's part of being a human. Like, you could literally blame a person for doing exactly what you're doing. But just because you're so self unaware that you don't see that at all. So you're only able to see their flaws, but you're not able to see your own flaws. The truth is, we are supposed to portray ourselves in this place. And that tells us that it's a hell room. Why ain't we supposed to do what we really want to do? Why can't we truly be ourselves? Why should we be domesticated, be turned into what works for this, for the elites, for those who actually run this place, not for us? And you want to tell me that it's not a hell realm? It's not a hell realm. Like, nah, man. Like, we need to be so open minded that we're willing to embrace the truth no matter what it is. You see, it mustn't be about what we want the truth to be. It mustn't be about comfort. Like, yeah, I'm just trying to find comfort. It must be about finding out what the real truth is and embracing it and figuring out what we need to do after realizing what the real truth is. You see, that's that's evolution. Us lying to ourselves every day doesn't really help us. It doesn't, like, if we have a chance of freeing ourselves, that chance comes with intellectual honesty and willingness to accept the real truth and letting us propel us than to lie to ourselves, than to brainwash ourselves or allowing others to brainwash us. There are some people that'll be telling us things that are ridiculous, but we follow them because we want to feel better. I've paid a very close attention to how things work. When I'm chilling with people, I'm the kind of a person who everyone will try to bring back to reality, right? Because I'll zone out easily. Like, I'll be chilling with a group of people like this, and then I'll be like, and they'll call, like, hey, hey, hey. Sometimes a person will call me like 5 times. You know what I'm doing at that time? I'm thinking. It means there's something that I saw when I was chilling with these people. So now I'm thinking. I'm the kind of person who does, like, I don't necessarily live in my own head, but when I see something, I try to analyze it, try to get the truth about it. So much that I will actually zone out. Even when I'm working alone, I'll zone out, and that's very dangerous because a person can get hit by cars if they're not paying that much attention. But I've been studying this reality for real. Like, been studying everything, bruh. If I go to a shop, I'm studying everything. I'm studying people, what they say, how they respond to things, how they treat one another. All of that. Like, I'm studying everything. And I can tell you without a doubt in my mind that this is a hell realm. Like, it's a fallen state of consciousness. Like, no matter what you want to call it, it's a nightmare, but it's something negative. That's what I mean. Like, it's not something that we were brought into for a good reason, or that we brought ourselves to for a good reason. You know what I mean? Like, it's something that happened for a bad reason. It might have happened because of a mistake. It might have happened because something wanted us trapped here, whatever. Like, no matter what you believe, like, it doesn't really matter. That is why I tell people that, like, if there's someone, for example, who makes video telling you about Gnosticism, telling you about Sophia, the Archons, and all that, that's good. Whether it's true or not, it's good. You know why? Because it aligns very well with what is true, which is that something is wrong here, right? So they're basically telling you that something is wrong with this place. They just have their own way of telling you that something is wrong. If someone is telling you that this is a dream, but it's a nightmare, that is true. See, they're telling you that there's something wrong with this place, but they're using their own way. It depends on how they view things, but still, they're telling you the truth. That's why it doesn't really matter. Like, I can make a video, you know, speaking from a Gnostic perspective, and it will still be. There will be no contradiction. I'll still be saying the same thing that I'm saying. I could make a video telling you that it's a dream, but it's a nightmare. There will be no contradiction. I could make a video talking about the Anunnakis. Like, one of my favorite stories. Actually, I wish someone can make a movie about this story of the Anunnakis. There's this movie that I've watched. What is it called? I think it's called Prometheus. It's the closest thing to the story of the Anunnakis. But I even, like, there isn't a movie. If you know a movie that's about the story of the Anunnakis, please tell me. I would like to watch that movie. But I would like someone, and I've wondered why no one has made movies about that story, because it's a very interesting story, because it's about these aliens called the Anunnakis that came to Earth, to look for gold, because their atmosphere, like, they needed to fix their atmosphere using gold. So they discovered that Earth has gold. When they got here, they found, you know, the chimpanzees and all that, and decided to uh, alter our DNA. I mean, their DNA, and turn them into us, to turn them into slaves, basically. And that's why we have this thing of wanting to worship deities, right? They wanted to turn us into their slaves, and they wanted us to look at them as gods, even though they weren't the real gods. So I think if they make the movie like that, like, that would be a really brilliant movie. But yeah, even if someone talks about that, like, I can watch their videos, because I'll get some insights, because they are basically telling us that something is wrong. That's what they'll be telling us. You see? So that's the truth. The truth is that something is wrong. That's why I'm calling this a hell room. What I'm really telling you is that there is something wrong with this place. That's it. I'm telling you that we weren't put here for a good reason. You see? So everyone has their own way of telling people what they want to tell them. Because another thing that I've realized is that I'm speaking to different people. I'm not speaking to one person, and I don't know what you can, like, if you're speaking to one person and you know what their worldview is, you will know how to talk to them. But if you're speaking to different people, you can't be to them specific. You have to try to find ways to accommodate everyone. So sometimes it might sound like I'm contradicting myself, but remember, I'm not just making videos for myself, I'm also making videos for others to watch. So I have to try to accommodate everyone. But my message has always been the same, which is that this is not good. So I call it a hell realm. You see? Some people might call it a prison. That still means it's a hell realm. You know? A prison is a hell. Because people are there to be punished. You'll be thinking that they're there to be reformed. Like, how do they get, what I mean? Like, they're not even safe. People are not even safe. People get raped in prison. People get bullied in prison. People are forced to do things that they will never dream that they would do in this room, because they're not safe. So they might make it look like they're just being put there so that they can change and become better and all that, but it's not about that. And it's hard to change a person. In fact, if a person knows that there's not going to be consequences for their actions, they most likely won't change. Like, people usually change when they experience great suffering. Like, if they experience great suffering, let's just say you do something wrong and you suffer, yeah, you might change. But people, that's why, let me give you this simple example. Let's say you're in a relationship with someone, they behave a certain way and you don't like how they're behaving. You try to talk to them, chances are they won't change. But if you leave and they realize what it's like being without you, and they manage to get you, they probably change, right? If they know that, oh, I can lose this person, now they will change. So that's how human beings are. So I get the idea of punishing people, but because we don't have free will, I don't really agree with it. But I get why it's like that, but I don't agree with it. I think they can be. I think we can try as a collective to think of ideas that are better. If really our true mission was to, like, change people and make them better. But it's not really like that. So there has to be intellectual honesty as we're dealing with this reality. As conscious beings that have found themselves in a world where we need to figure out what is going on ourselves, right? Since there are no aliens that are telling us what's going on, but even if there were, you know even if there were aliens that be telling us what's going on, how do we know that we should trust them? I mean, we can't even trust other humans, bruh. We can't even trust the people that we're very close to. So how do we know that we should be trusting this? It's like you just have to figure out what's going on yourself, what makes sense yourself. You have to um, sharpen your intuition so much that you are able to see what what the truth is. Like, you're supposed to get what the truth is most of the time, which is not an easy thing to do. You could, keep trying each and every day. It's not an easy thing to do. But everything about this place tells us that it's a hell realm, and I wish that we lived with people who were honest with themselves and who knew where their true power lies. Your true power doesn't lie in ignorance, bruh. Like, you're never winning if you're going to be ignorant, because we live in a world where we are deceived, that every day. Remember, I came across a video on TikTok about this guy talking about, yeah, there are four groups of they've been communicating with four different groups of aliens for years, blah blah blah, and he's someone important. Just that I haven't really checked what it really does. But I'll be like, why ain't we, like, he's in America, he lives in America. I'll be like, why ain't they having real conversations if about what might actually be going on, if they're really serious about letting the world knows what's actually going on? Like, they're just manipulating people. They're just giving them hints. Trying to make them debate about things. Playing with their emotions. It's never really about liberating people. This is the kind of world that we live in. It's the kind of world where they allowed religion to thrive, even though it was clear to the elites that it was all BS. It was clear, but they were like, what can we do to control these human beings that are naive, that don't have a lot of power? Let's make them believe in God. Let's make them believe in God, who says this, who says that. Let's spread this, you know what I mean? And we end up living in a world that's controlled by religion, and people, and that makes it hard for people to evolve, because they judge one another. I remember there was this person that I used to communicate with. This person is not a Christian, um, but you could tell that they still live by Christian morals. Like, they even been able to escape that, even though they don't believe in Christianity, and that's stopping them from evolving. Like, they are not thinking as honestly as possible. And I know it's hard to shift from Christian morality if you grew up in a place that's dominated by Christianity, right? I grew up in a place that's dominated by Christian. I used to think something as simple as drinking alcohol was a sin. I remember the first time, and this was 2011. I mean, not the first time I drank alcohol, but I had not drank alcohol maybe in like 2 or 3 years. So in 2011, we went to. I was in grade 11. We went somewhere. I forgot what we were going to do there, as grade 12 students. Yeah. So me and my friends bought alcohol. We drank. The next day, I remember I was still going to church. I remember I went to church and apologized to God for drinking alcohol, as if I killed a person. It's like, so I was very growing up. Like, a lot of people felt I was intelligent, right? They used to tell me that all the time. So I would say I was very intelligent, but to know they've been able to see that there was nothing wrong with it. It shows you how people can be brainwashed. I think what helped me separate myself from all of that was um that pain that I was telling you about in the beginning. You know, I feel like the shadow got so close to me that it forced me to see the truth. You see, the only advantage of being close to that shadow is that it kind of show you the truth. Remember, uh, we are trying to run away from pain. We're trying to run away from pain, but pain also comes from a place of truth that's trying to remind us what is actually going on. So once that shadow gets close to you, you're like, oh, this is the truth. This is the truth. This is the truth. But you want to run away. You're like, I do not want to um, I do not want to fully acknowledge the truth now, or this way. like maybe I can understand the truth without the pain. So let me separate myself from this shadow, and keep on running. Let me learn what I've learned. Let me try to think about what I've learned, but I don't want this shadow to catch me, and that has been my life. So I do feel like I'm more free than I've ever been, but the pain doesn't go away. Like the pain is always there, you know. And I see this pain in everyone. When people fail in life, I see the pain, and they try to make it seem like what's causing them to feel the pain is failure itself. I find that that's not really the truth. The pain has always been there. What happened is that failure made that shadow closer. Like it kind of like what made the shadow comes faster is this negative experience, or these experiences that we feel like are negative. But the pain has always been there. When people lose their loved ones, try to lie to themselves. Hey, God knew what He was doing, but they're in pain. They're in real pain. That pain is telling them that God doesn't know what He's doing. Because that's what the pain is telling you. Let me tell you. Let me give you this simple example. Let's just say something happened. Oh, let me use this example. Let's say um today it has to rain. It rains the whole day, but you are told that after it has rained the whole day, the world will change and everything will be great in this world. Would you have a problem if it rains the whole day? So let's say someone dies, someone that you love dies a tragic death, but you know that, oh, now God knows what He's doing. Like everything is happening for a good reason. Would you even cry, or you be like, yeah, I'm glad that God is doing what He needs to be doing. I'm glad that God is working in my life right now, because He wouldn't allow this shit to happen if He didn't want to do something good in my life. But now people will be in pain. We're talking real Christians here. We're talking real Muslims here. They'll be in serious pain, because that pain is truth, right? It's coming from a place of truth. Like it's basically telling them that, hey, this is in it. The lies that you're telling yourself, like, you know what I mean? Like the lies that they be telling themselves don't work anymore, right? Krem say, good morning, Benedictine, the truth. Where do you live? Because in South Africa, it's not morning, bro. Like it's I think it's like 5 p.m. now in South Africa. Where do you live? See, pain brings you closer to truth. Pain actually brings you closer to truth. So if you live a lie, if you tell yourself lies about this place, pain will bring you closer to truth. If you distract yourself from pain, you don't want to learn what the pain is teaching you, what the pain is telling you, the message that it carries, you're going to be very ignorant. And that level of ignorance, I consider it to be insanity. To me, insanity is the ability is the ability to reject the truth, no matter how clear it is. To me, that's insanity. It's when people go to church, that's where there's fake prophets. These prophets get it wrong every Sunday. They get it wrong. They get it wrong. They keep on getting it wrong. Giving them water to drink, saying them they will heal. Giving them water to drink, telling them that they're gonna get jobs while getting their money. I would say that's insanity. You can see that there's no results here. You could see that they've never performed any miracle. Like for real, never performed any miracle. But you're like, yeah, maybe one day, nah. I would say insanity is just the inability to see the truth. You must be able to see the truth. You must be able to see things as they are. So sanity is your ability to see the truth. So if you're going to a church and this guy's performing fake miracles all the time, you can see that he's performing fake miracles. That's insanity. But if you're going to church and this guy's performing real miracles and you see that it's real miracles, that's not insanity. But you have to pay close attention to everything and also keep on trying to uh, attain knowledge, so that if you are being deceived, you'll be able to see that you are being deceived. It's like if you watch magicians like David Blaine performing their tricks. Before you think it's real, you have to try to figure out if there are ways that they could trick you. So it has to be like that. No matter what you believe, it has to be like that. You know, that's how you evolve. So it's gonna be much harder for people to trick you, because you don't want to be that person that's very easy to trick. And that's how a lot of people, end up telling themselves lies, is because they're lazy to seek for true knowledge, about what is actually going on in this weird place that we all have found ourselves in. You know, so you'll tell them something that is true, and they will treat you like the enemy, because they've been programmed to respond that way to people who actually speak the truth, right? Since we were little, what I've realized, and this is weird, whenever I spoke the truth, real truth, people responded the same, and they didn't respond positively. If you are ignorant as a kid, saying the most ignorant shit, your parents kind of like support you somehow. Like, let me give you the simple example. In America, I think the kids believe that this Santa Claus is real, right? So if a kid that was like 4 told their parents that Santa Claus isn't real, um, they're lying to us. You're lying to us about Santa Claus. How do you think the parents will react? Like, no, it's real. Santa Claus is real, right? But if the kids say, I want toys from Santa Claus, blah, 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 acting all ignorant, the parents will support that kid. Ask yourself why. You might say, well, it's not like they're doing it consciously. And yes, they're not doing it consciously. They've been programmed to do it to their children. So when we were growing up, whenever I spoke the truth, bruh, they will react negatively. I'm talking about my parents, I'm talking about my school teachers, I'm talking about my friends, I'm talking about everyone. They will respond negatively. But whenever I say some ignorant shit, knowing it was some ignorant shit because I was very manipulative as a kid, they will they will side with me. And that's what's happening now. You see? You speak the real truth, the whole world is gonna be against you. You speak nonsense, the whole world is gonna it's all upside down, you see? The hell realm is supposed to trick us so that we never get to truly be who we are. Right? We have to lie to ourselves. So, you see, that's the only way that the people who are conscious can be defeated, I guess. It's if we look down on ourselves because the whole world is against us, because we are outnumbered. We're like, I'd rather not speak the truth, because the world is going to react this way, the world is going to respond this way, the people in my life are going to respond this way, blah blah blah. So you don't speak the truth. And if you don't speak the truth, what happens is that you are not, like, you end up not uh evolving, because to evolve, not you shouldn't only think the truth, you must also speak it. The more you speak it, the more, like, the more you receive more truth, like the more you gain insights, right? Like, it's much easier for me to gain insights because I speak the truth. Like, I've put myself in a vibration where I'm only able to receive truth. Like, even if a person is lying to me, ever, I don't know if it's easy for a lot of people, ever learn more truth from lies. Like, someone actually lies to you and you get the truth from the lies that they're telling you. You're like, oh shit, this is what happened. And you don't even tell them. So you could be in that kind of vibration where truth matters so much to you that that's all that you see. Whether people are lying or not, that's all that you see. So there needs to be, you need to build a character that aligns with truth no matter what, so that you will attract truth, so that you will see truth even when it's not clear. You see? So it will be much easier for you to see truth. But it's not easy. It's not an easy thing to do. It's something that takes a lot of work and a lot of courage. um I was lucky enough because when I was a kid, I had so much courage. Right, there was a time when I was not as courageous as I was as a kid, but I used to speak the truth. I didn't care what adults thought. I was the kind of kid that if my neighbor's mother or father sent me somewhere to buy sweets, I'll be like, no, I don't want to go, straight up. And they'll be shocked, like, what kind of child is this? Because other kids will go. Right, if our elders send us to do something, like the other kids will go, right? No questions asked. But I was the kind of kid that would be like, nah. Like if I didn't want to do something, I don't want to do it, you know. So because of that, I didn't care what other people thought. Like when I was a kid, I didn't really care what other people thought. I just changed a little when I was in high school and when I went to college. The reason why I changed when I was in high school is because of girls. Now you want girls, you hit puberty. So now it matters if people like you. Back then, it didn't really matter. Now it matters how girls look at you. So you're trying to be normal. You're trying to like figure out what they respond to. But back then, when I was like little, it didn't matter because I didn't want girls. So I was good. But as I became more and more conscious, I realized that what really matters is being real, because we don't want to be stuck here forever. We don't want to live in this illusion forever, because it's that's what it is, an illusion. So there's nothing to gain being stuck here forever. So what matters is that I build enough character to only attract truth. That kind of truth is the truth that I'm going to use to build a ship that's going to fly me the fuck out of here. You see? like like the bricks that I'll need to build whatever I need to build, whether it's what they said in the Bible, like these people were trying to build some tower to reach God. Like these bricks, they are made out of truth. You know, whatever equipment I'll need, like it's made out of truth. That's what I don't think there's a way out if it's not, if it's not rooted on truth. I don't think you can just free yourself from it. Like, and if you're expressing an illusion, the only way to free yourself from that illusion is truth. Is to figure out that it's an illusion. That is the truth. So you have to figure out that it's all an illusion, it's all not real, to figure out the inconsistencies, all of that, so that you will free yourself. But if you don't realize that it's an illusion, then boom, you stuck. You find yourself stuck in an illusion and feeling like it's real, uh, and becoming a prisoner in an in something that is not real. Like, can you imagine being a prisoner in an imaginary prison? That's what people be dealing with now. So it takes a lot of courage to um be real in a realm where you ain't supposed to be. Like, it takes a lot of courage. And the reason why it takes a lot of courage is because we ain't supposed to be. We ain't supposed to be real. We ain't supposed to be honest. And that should be a sign that it's a hell room. You know, like, you don't need to know what the celebrities be doing. Watch these conspiracy videos about celebrities performing some rituals and whatever, the Illuminati, the 666, whatever. You don't need to know all of that, any of that. You just have to look at simple things. You actually realize that, oh shit, it is actually horrible. You don't just look at your own life. What's happening in your own life, or maybe sit down and watch TV one day. I haven't watched TV in like forever. But if you can sit down and just be patient enough, watch television for like an hour, you'll be like, ah, shit, we are in a hell room. You watch all the you will realize that it's a hell room. Just watch TV for a while. Watch how things are being sold to us. Because things ain't sold to us in ways that things should be sold to adults. You know what I'm saying? Like when I want to buy something, I want it like I want details. I want it to. I don't want it to kind of like be sold. Like I want it to be. I don't want it to be sold to me like it's being sold to a child, right? I want to know what I'm buying. You'd realize that they view us the same way that they view children. Like those who actually run the world, they look at us and be like, "Those are children." That's why they treat us like children. They don't treat us like we are grown-ups. That is why we're not even allowed to make decisions in our own countries as citizens. Like as citizens of your country, the only decision that you're supposed to make is deciding who gets to be in power. That's it. That's the power that you have. And we can't even tell if it's not rigged because they brainwash people since they're young. They create one thing that you should never underestimate is how powerful brainwashing is. You'd wonder why people keep on siding with certain kind of people. You think they'll just side with them. Like no, some people are not strong as you are mentally. They can easily be brainwashed. So you find that they keep on rooting for those who do not serve their needs, right? So it's like that. We're not even allowed to make the decisions as a country. Like, yo, this is what we want. In South Africa right now, if we decided as a country that we want to bring the I don't even know if I should say it here on YouTube, the what penalty back. Because that's what each and every person that I've ever communicated with since I was kid, they believe in that. Do I believe in that? Uh I don't care. But a lot of people believe in that. So if that's what they wanted, because there's crime, right? There's crime. People can enter your house unalive you, your children, and get away with it, or get arrested, and then we give them the spotlight. And I think there's something wrong with that. You'd hear that someone unalived 80 people. And then they're given a spotlight. Now they're famous, like the most famous person, and now everyone knows them. So it even gets to a point where people be like, "Oh, to be famous, I just need to do that shit." You know, because it's very easy. You know what I mean? So some people are like, hey, maybe we should bring it that back. But those who are in power be like, no, we are treated like children. Like we can't make our own decisions as citizens of a country. That's one of the biggest problems. Guys, let's like the live. Let's keep on commenting. I need to pee. Been here for like an hour. Let's drink water. Uh, but I'm still here, so I'm not gonna take time at all. Yeah, I'll be back in like a minute. Alright, guys, I'm back. I'm back. I'm back. I was checking. Like where I live, there's what they call load reduction. So sometimes they cut the power for like 5 hours. So I was checking if tomorrow they're gonna cut the power off because I wanted to also be live tomorrow. So I wanted to ask if there's someone who would actually want to go live with me tomorrow. Like let's do this. Let's have a comment. Like it would be nice to have like one or two people, but not tomorrow because there's gonna be load reduction around this time. So it will be good if we do it on Thursday, right? On Thursday, it will be good if we do it on Thursday. So um yeah if you want to go live with me, check my email. Check my email. Is there. I can even type my email here. Yeah, I've just posted my email. So if you want to go live with me, or if you want to communicate with me about whatever, you can send me an email. I think it would be good that we go live regularly, because I haven't been doing that in a while. But now I have time. Like, I didn't really have time, but now I actually do have time. So it will be good that if you want to go live together with me, we go live together, have real deep conversations, try to help one another. I think there is so much that we can learn from having real conversations about what's going on, like being real with one another. Because you know that in real life, like with people that you live with, you can't have this kind of conversations. Like, if you have people that you can have these real conversations with, you have to, I'm gonna have to use the word blessed. Like, you have to feel like you're blessed because it's rare, right? It's like people who are conscious were placed far away from one another, and they are surrounded by those who are unconscious. Like, it's supposed to be like that. So they would take you like, oh, this one is conscious, let's put them there. Like, there's gonna be surrounded by a lot of people who are not conscious, so that they will not thrive. Because people thrive when they are, when they are connected, People thrive when they're actually connected. People don't thrive when they are alone. It's hard when you're outnumbered. You know how it is. You know how people treat you when you're different, right? So if you are outnumbered and they realize that you're different, they're not going to treat you well. But if you're not outnumbered, you are many and you're conscious, like you become powerful. That is why cults, like small cults, can achieve a lot, right? A cult, find out a cult of like 60 people, they can achieve a lot because they believe in the same thing. They agree on the same thing. They feel connected. But if you feel alone, if you feel like you are truly alone, you feel like you can't no one understands you, you become weaker because you're feeling all these negative emotions. It gets to a point where, because you as a human, you're programmed to want to seek companionship. So it gets to a point where you fight to um connect with others, right? You fight to connect with others. So you let go of who you are because you're trying to connect with others. Like you sacrifice yourself just to connect with others. So hit me on an email. Let's do this. Let's go live together. It will be on Thursday. I'm gonna go live again on Thursday. But let's keep on going. Today I have enough energy for this, so we can keep doing it. But um I need to close the window. Not yet, because I think if I terminate the contract now, it will mean that I don't go to the gym anymore. So it would be best if maybe I terminate it around 15. I can try with gym company around the time, because maybe they might want me to pay maybe Monday. So I think that's best. Nice Morpheus thumbnail. No, thanks. I don't know. I don't remember who actually sent me this picture. Actually, it was on Discord, and I thought it was a very funny picture. So today, when I wanted to go live, I was like, no, let me look for that picture because I forgot um where it was. So I had to look for it first before going live. Matoix, hi guys, hi Ben. Now, thanks for joining. But yeah, there's a lot that we can do if we try to connect more. In my opinion, like the more we connect, the stronger we become. So I want to be more available. I want to be more available and connect with different people and try to learn from different people. Because there was a time when I used to have conversations with people on Instagram. Let me also type my name on Instagram. I mean, for Instagram, like for Instagram users, you just search for Benedictine the vegan, and you find me on Instagram too. Like we need to connect, you know. Why not? That's how people become stronger. Like if you feel alone, you probably feel alone because you are not connecting with the right people. You know, most of the people who are in your life don't think the way that you do. Like it sucks, you know, and it makes it harder on a realm like this, like in a realm that was designed to be against your kind of awareness, your kind of consciousness. You know, like you know, you are in a room where you're supposed, like your level of consciousness is here, right? And you are in a realm that wants your level of consciousness to be here. So it will be against you. You know, it will be against you. So you're supposed to be somewhere here, and that's when you suffer less. Otherwise, if you are here, it considers you a threat. So you'll keep on experiencing a lot of BS because you're operating at a much higher level of consciousness. And it's not easy for a lot of people. It really, I find it weird that whenever people really speak the truth, like I've listened to a lot of people who are hated in our society speak the truth, and the backlash, bruh, will be so real that you're like, what the hell? And they don't, like the people who will be against those who speak the truth, they don't say something that actually makes sense. I want to give you a simple example. Let's just say I was very famous. I was this famous artist, or I became famous, and then someone discovered my channel. Someone famous, maybe some news reporters, they'll report that he says that this is a hell realm. And that's it. He says this is a hell room, and it would look like I'm this dark person who's just negative, this and that. Like they will never try to listen to what I'm actually saying. Like that won't matter. I spoke the truth, and that's enough for them to attack me based on the truth that I spoke. You know, that's how it is. Like people who are against my message, they'll never really be able to disprove prove it intellectually. They'll just say something that other people do not agree with that I've said and say that I've said it. And then they will be like, yeah, he's wrong, he's wrong, he's wrong, without listening to the context. Like, what am I trying to say here? Because that's how we get to the truth is you have to explain why you view the world the way that you view the world. It's not like what I'm saying is not are not things that are like obvious like that. I'm saying things that are very deep that are not easily understood by people, you know, because we've been programmed to not see things as they are. So if I speak the truth and I try to explain it, and then you just quote one sentence and you'll be like, you're wrong because of this one sentence, but you find that there's the context, like you're missing the whole point now. You're just picking one thing that doesn't really represent what I'm saying very well. You see, it's crazy how we are as humans. Ashley Brahim says, I'm sick of this shit. At age 34, how people live until 60 and 70. I'm turning 31 on the 31st of May. Oh, not 31, actually. What am I thinking? I'm used to saying that I'm 31. I'm turning 32 on the 31st of this month. I wonder how someone was able to do this for um 64 years, you know? Like there are people who have been. If there's someone who's like in their 60s, please tell me in the comment, because I don't know how you were able to like keep on going. Like you can give us some tips, because it's not easy, bruh. It is not easy. It's not easy. Like we're in a realm where people go through a lot, and it seems like things keep on becoming worse, right? Because we keep on bringing more and more people without looking at the problems that we already have as a collective now, without trying to solve the problems that we already have. So I wonder how people who are in their 60s manage to kind of like, get there. Random, she says Benedictine the vegan. Yeah, on Instagram, yeah, it's Benedictine the vegan. Sarah Mark says, if you let yourself get old, you've let the hell rim win. I don't agree. I do think that you learn as you get older. It's just not easy. Because think about it, like when I was 25, I didn't understand the things that I understand now. I didn't understand these things that I understand now. I was so damn unconscious. I mean, I used to think I was conscious, and other people will say that I'm conscious, but compared to the level that I've reached now, like there's a real difference. So I do think that the longer you stay, if you are doing the right things, the more you get to understand. The more you get to uh, realize, some truth that you wouldn't actually be able to realize if you went here for that long. FD say, is there a way to become ignorant and be a sheep again? I don't want to see. I mean, I don't think so. I don't think once you start seeing things as they are, I don't think there's going back. I don't think there's going back, like, at all. Like when you were little, going to school and thinking that school was great and all that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Maybe, but if you realize that school was what it is when you were a kid, there will be no going back. There will be no going back. Um, maybe you just need to try to cope knowing what you know. When good dogs on do bad things, commented and said, unfortunately, the smarter you are, the more you suffer. Ironic, maybe. Yeah, that's true, actually. Unless you are privileged enough, but still, I think if you're smart and you're kind of a psycho, maybe, because I mean, maybe feel better because you just focus on yourself. But if you are just like any other human and you're smarter, you're gonna see a lot of things that are just not right, and you're gonna be against these things. So yeah, that's what's gonna make you suffer. When good dogs do bad things, says I'm 46 and it's getting old. Yeah, you've pushed 46. Rick and Baker, I'm 65 and I haven't had one good day in the past 25 years. No lie, constant pain. Oh, I'm sorry about that. Yeah, but you've pushed, man. Like, I think what will keep me going if I was in my 60s, I'll be like, well, at least I've already conquered puberty. I've conquered my teenage years. I've conquered my midlife crisis. Now, i- it's just a matter of time, maybe. Like, maybe this how I'd look at it. I'll be like, yeah, I'm getting closer now. Because not that many people even reach the age of 60 nowadays. Like, life is so fast now. So I think that's what will. Yeah, I think that's what I'll use to make myself feel better. Like, that's what I'll tell myself to make myself feel better. Stephen LD, if you really don't like it here, you will delete yourself, but you're not serious, pain. But I've been telling you all that there's so much that you can understand about this place. Let me give you a simple example here. Let's say you wanted to break out of prison. Like, you're in prison, you wanted to break out. How would you break out? You'd be like, okay, let me just run out. Or you'll be like, I need to plan, right? There's so much that you need to learn first. You also need to know how you're gonna handle life outside. Like, what are you gonna do when you're out? How do you prepare yourself for what you're going to deal with when you're outside? The cops be looking for you all over. What are you going to do? You don't just decide now that I'm escaping. That's why I said the longer you stay, you know, planning, coming up with a perfect plan, trying to learn as much as you can, the better. You see? What the F says I'm 25 and tired of this shit already. No, I'm sorry, man. Like I remember at the age of 35, 25, I was depressed, man. I was 2018. I was depressed. I still cannot explain how it was possible to feel like that as a human. I didn't think it was possible. So I get it, man. I get it. Matawik says I'm not going past about 55. How old are you, Matawik? when good things when do good dogs do bad things, the older I get, the more I just laugh everything off. Yeah, it gets there because you kind of have dealt with most of the challenges that people have to go through. Like when you are like in your 60s, you no longer even deal with relationship problems anymore, unless maybe you have children and yeah, all of that. But let's just say you don't even have children. You're old, you don't have anyone depending on you. You're just doing your thing. Because there's some problems that you like. I think we deal with, unless maybe you are not healthy, but I think we deal with problems more when we're in our between our 30s and 40s, right? Like somewhere there. I mean, even when you're younger, like going like being a teenager is not easy. But when you are in your 60s, like after the age of 60, I think the only real problems that you deal with if you don't have children is like you're seeing your health deteriorating or losing people that you've known for years. That sucks. Rick and Baker, I was awake at 20 and couldn't get along with all the mainstream beliefs. As a consequence, I don't have a comfy boomer retirement at 60. Come, Rick and Baker, you said how old you were again? I think you said you were like 40 something. So you've been awake for more than 20 years. So Sarah Mike says, "What's the point though? Doesn't everyone memories get wiped at death? So what's the point?" No, that's a good question, and there's something that I've realized when I dream. I've been telling you that when you dream, of course, you don't know that you're dreaming, right? I've realized that if I work on becoming stronger, on handling my emotions better, on being more resilient, even in my dreams, I'm that way. So I'll wake up from a nightmare and be proud of myself and be like, I love how I handled what I went through. Like for an example, 2 weeks back, I had a dream where this shadow figure entered through my window, right? I'm sleeping. So there's this shadow figure that entered through my window. I see it. Now I had three options, or maybe more. I could just scream, I could stand up and try to attack it, I could try to run the fuck out. Or maybe the fourth option would be just to cover myself. You know what I did? I woke up and tried to grab it. But that's when I experienced what they call sleep paralysis. I couldn't move. So I was like, no, 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 this is improvement because that shows that I'm no longer a coward that I used to be. Because I could have tried to run away, I could have screamed, but I tried to attack it. So why am I telling you that? I'm telling you this because when you develop your character, you're gonna be the same no matter where you find yourself. So even after this realm, I do think you whatever you would have developed will still be there, even if your memories are not there. I don't think they can wipe like everything off like that. Like it's you still gonna be the same. That's why when you dream, you are who you are here, right? If you're a coward here, you're gonna be a coward in your dreams. If you're afraid of snakes here, you're gonna be afraid of snakes in your dreams. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you're afraid of here, you're gonna be afraid of it in your dreams. So if you build a strong character while you're still here, you find that you're not controlled by your fears. You have courage. Even if you're afraid, you have courage. You have that thing of wanting to fight back. Then there, you are able to fight. Ecstasy says, is everything cope? I would say yes. Like, everything is cope. Um, but there are better ways to cope. You can cope while learning something, which is a good thing. You can cope while destroying yourself, right? Like, if, for an example, you use drugs to cope, or you lie to yourself to cope, or you allow people to lie to you to cope. You know what I mean? That wouldn't be good. But everything is cope. Regan Baker says no wife, no children. That might make it easier if you get older. Jake Duzen, I'm 40 years old, 48 years old, and when I watch your videos, I want to tell you, you haven't seen anything yet. You try to scare me. You try to scare me, Jake. Uh, yeah, if the older we get, but I think it also has to do with what we get ourselves into, right? Like, let's just say at the age of 20, you tell yourself that, okay, you know what, a lot of things that people get themselves into, I'm not going to get myself into any of that shit. I'm just going to try to live as freely as I can. You might not experience a lot, but then if you want to do what other people are doing, you're like, let me get married, let me have many children, let me have this, let me have this, and complicate your life so much, then you will definitely deal with the problems that other people have dealt with, as they got older. My parents lived to 81 and 88, and their last years were horrible for them. Yeah, man, I never understood, but I never understood why we've never. But whatever, I've already spoken about it. It's fine. When good dogs do bad things, says the second I realize I'm dreaming, I wake up. Yeah, that's concerning, because also me, like, when I realize that I'm dreaming, like I'm actually sleeping and dreaming, I wake up. What will happen is that the dream characters will start to seem weird, right? You find that if I'm talking to someone, they'll turn into something scary, like a reptilian or something like that, and then I will wake up because I've realized that I was dreaming. Because there's a difference between knowing that it's all a dream and realizing that you are in your sleeping dream. When you realize that you're in a sleeping dream, you just wake up. Matovic says, I'm 50, and I should have at 20 years old. We keep thinking things will get better. There is no tomorrow. It's just the same day with sleep in between. Other people are never gonna get better. You have seen a lot. If you're 50, so you were born in the when, like, say early 70s, somewhere the late 70s. So you've seen the rise of technology. Saturn Net One, finding back in my dreams is telling me I'm gaining more power. Exactly. Like, now you're trusting in your own strength. You're no longer. You remember when you were a kid, when you have a nightmare, you know what I mean. You try to protect yourself by, maybe you just cover yourself like this. But if you feel like fighting, that means you have that fighting spirit in you. So you've developed enough courage to defend yourself that way, which is a good thing. Matteo says life is only fun if you are young and attractive and good social skills and good fighter with no mental issues. Yeah, that's true. It can be fun, of course, if you are attractive and you are confident. You have some money. Uh, you know, yeah, good social skills as well. But if you are truly into waking up, it might still not be fun, because there will still be that part of you that's like you get tired very easily. Like people will overwhelm you so much that you would want to be alone. Because sometimes when you are alone, you think, if I had many friends, I'll be fine. Like, no, you find that people keep on calling you, people come keep on visiting you. You don't even have time to be alone. So it will actually become overwhelming if you're really on the path of waking up. So it depends on what you really want, I guess. Like if what you want is to have many friends, is to party, is to have many people who want to be in your life and all of that, then maybe. But if what really matters to you is waking up, maybe it won't be so much fun. The boot says, I can't remember my dreams at all. Like I haven't remember a dream in years. That's what bothers me. Do you smoke weed or drink a lot? Because that's weird. Do you dream? Like, do you remember dreaming? Because I know that, like, I've had dreams that I didn't remember, but after waking up from them, I know that I had a dream. You know, I'll just remember maybe bits and pieces. Like the dream that I had last night. I remember I was lost somewhere walking, but I don't remember what was happening. I don't remember the context of the dream. I just remember being lost. I don't know where I was going, where I was coming from. But sometimes I would have dreams and forget completely what I dreamt about. I'll just wake up and feel a certain way and be like, oh, I had a dream, but I don't know what I like. I would remember maybe 1% of the dream or nothing at all, I guess, because I would not even remember what was happening. So I guess that 1% would just be me remembering that I dreamt. Pre-fifth G Prisanen. So we are here to develop character, and then there is nothing to complain. We're not here to develop character, but we can. It's like if you're in prison trying to escape, you are trying to plan. Like you'd have to prepare yourself. It doesn't mean that you were put in prison to prepare yourself to escape. It just means that now that you realize that you're in prison, now you're preparing for your escape. You see? So you weren't put here to develop character, but you can develop character while you are here after realizing what you're dealing with. Reagan Baker says people who believe in the system and don't question anything are the ones with successful, comfortable lives. Um, I don't know. I think there's just few of us. I think there are some people who are successful who don't believe in the system. It's just that people who are truly conscious are few in this world. Like there are really, 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 like really, really few. So yeah, to reach like real success in this realm, yeah, I'm talking real success. I'm not talking about you just being comfortable. Real success. I think there are a lot of things that a lot of conscious people wouldn't want to do. Plus, if you're very conscious, you don't really think about success a lot, right? You don't really like most of the time you spend trying to figure out what is actually going on than doing things that are gonna help you succeed. So the ones who are not very conscious, they're trying their best to succeed, and it make action matters, right? The more you do, the better your chances of you succeeding. So that's why. But there's just a few of us. Like we're not many in this room, so that's why it seems that way. Motoic says being happy is the only meaning, but it's near impossible to be fully happy here. Life and people make sure you don't get what you want. Yeah, I'm not sure if real happiness is attainable here. Like I'm not sure if that's possible. Like while we're still here, there's always a threat. Like even if you are truly comfortable now, there's always a threat. Like this, there's always that feeling that what if something bad happens? You know, let's say you have some money. What if you get robbed? You know, what if tomorrow something happens that needs the money that you have? Blah blah blah. So that steals your happiness. That anxiety. You know, because it's like the what makes this hard is that you're not truly in control. You don't know what's going to happen in the next 5 minutes. You don't know what call you're going to get in the next 5 minutes. You don't know how you're going to feel in the next 5 minutes. You could be watching this and then now you're feeling pain somewhere. And what's going on? And this pain doesn't go away, and you have to go to a hospital and you find that there's a serious problem. Is it so? Small things like that also steal our happiness. John Max, guys, no matter how deep the pain and hell feels like, no matter how strong the manic attack or feelings of impending doom we go through, I want you all to keep fighting to get through the day. All right, thanks, man. Thanks. Motoix, I had that black figure next to my bed when I was a teenager. I woke up and he was beside my bed. I couldn't move. I was awake. It wasn't a dream. I could feel how powerful he was. Yeah, that's the thing that's what I was thinking actually. That maybe it's not really a dream. Because why can't you move if it's a dream? Because here's the thing: every time when I experience sleep paralysis, I'm in my room. I've never experienced sleep paralysis where I'm somewhere else, right? That's what's scary, guys. And we need to ask ourselves why. Why are you always in your room when you experience sleep paralysis? And there's always this being that you're trying to like wake up and touch this being or do something to this being, but you can't. When good dogs go bad, says the nervous system is key. Is the key. Control that, and you control yourself. But how do you control the nervous system? Dante, I have hundreds of games. I find them boring after being super aware. I find them very boring. Um, what kind of games? Like computer games, PlayStation games, Xbox? Kumar Patel, sadly, we are living in a whole room, but people gonna pretend like they are living in some kind of utopian society. Somehow we gotta keep telling ourselves that life is beautiful. I think people just tell themselves what it's cool to tell themselves. Like we have this tendency of wanting to make our lives seem better than they are. You see, we've been programmed to make our lives seem better than they are. So everyone is pretending as if their lives are good, even if their lives are bad. I remember I gave you this example that people will be posting on social medias whenever they go out. You know, they're not posting when they're in pain, when they're feeling anxious, when they're feeling afraid. Like people be posting when they'll be posting positive things all the time because that's attractive, right? So maybe some people do realize that no, something is wrong, but they just have to pretend. You see, in fact, them realizing that something is wrong, and because most people are not authentic, that makes them go like, "Yeah, I must make people think that I'm doing good, even though things are bad." You see, so they make people think they're doing good, even though things are bad. And most people are just not real. Rick and Beg. It's crazy that there's elements in my dreams that refer to my current life, but at the same time, my parents are in the dream and I'm reacting like they're still alive. Yeah, I've had dreams like that, but I've also had dreams where, because my father passed away in September last year, I've dreamt about him many times, but in most of the dreams that I have about him, I would know that he's dead. I would know that he's dead, but I would interact with him as if he's here. So in some dreams, I have dreams where he came back from the dead, and it is crazy, and I would believe that. But I've had dreams where he was still alive, and I forgot that he died, which is crazy. So you see what kind of evil we're dealing with here, where we can be manipulated, our memories can be removed, I guess, because how can I have a dream like that? Was something traumatic, right? I've never lost a parent before, or someone very close to me, like I was close with my dad, and I forget that he's dead in a dream. Like, how is that even possible? The Adoro says hello, welcome, welcome. Matokes, do you think beautiful girls are in a hell realm? I don't see how they can have a bad time. They have the most valuable currency on earth. Men are so thirsty. I mean, they don't appreciate most of the things that you appreciate. You know what I mean? Like they don't. There are a lot of beautiful girls who know nothing because they're not interested in anything because they've never had to be interested in anything. So they must like I've interacted. Have you ever interacted with like those model chicks, like those Instagram baddies? You try to talk to them about some things, maybe a movie that they like or a book that they have read, songs that they like, and you're like, huh? Like there's no most of the things that you enjoy, they don't enjoy these things. It seems like their lives are empty. Like there's no depth. You know what I mean? And you feel sorry for them. You never want to be like them. So I don't know if that's better. You know, I'd say what will make life better is if you appreciate a lot of things and get to understand a lot of things and value real connection. You find that those girls just want money and that's it. They never appreciate a person for who they are, all of that. So I don't know. It must be lonely to being them. So I don't know if their lives are better. You're just looking at them and you're saying men are thirsty. Yeah, they don't even appreciate those men. They just want money. That's it. And they want to buy meaningless things like chains, rings, watches. You like that's it. That's their lives. That must be sad. And they're competing with other girls like them, and they hope that it doesn't fall apart one day. Boozy, the best dream I want to have is none. What's that? Gee, what would you do if you are severely physically ill but the doctors don't help you because NPCs and gaslighting? Ah, that's a difficult question. That's why I want us to like I'm gonna create a Discord so that we'll also like we'll have many people like answer different questions. So yeah, I will introduce the new Discord soon. We'll figure it out how we're gonna make it work together. In fact, I think on the next live, I'm gonna be talking to you about that. I'm gonna be talking to you about the new Discord. We need to figure this shit out together. I don't want it to fail again because we have a lot of people who are there just to spam the whole thing. We have to figure it out together. Pre face it's preface, yeah. It says we form families, children, and then isolate each other and indulge love with TV. Yeah, that's really bad, bro. Like when I was growing up, me and my siblings used to be very close. Like, me and my whole family, we used to be very close. But after buying TV and cell phones, would isolate ourselves. Everyone would be in their room watching TikTok videos. Like we wouldn't chill together. But yeah, watching TV together back then, it felt cool. It's just that now there's nothing to watch on TV, you know. But back then it felt cool. So now we isolate ourselves. You find that there's no connection. People live together. They just meet just like once a day. When even if they live in the same house, don't even greet each other. Like it even go to a point where me and my sisters wouldn't even greet each other. We just pass each other. Like we know we're there. We only talk to each other when it was necessary. You'd swear that we have a problem with each other, but there's no problems. It's just that this social media and these gadgets, I guess, they make us disconnected. You know, a different perspective. Many times I feel like exiting, but I'm like, what if the energy that makes my body goes into becoming a spider, donkey, tree, or another human, maybe into another more horrible realm? Yeah, I think that's what is that what Buddhists believe, that you can come back as an animal or something like that. Um, but yeah, it's an interesting way to look at what's possible, but I don't think. But yeah, it's you never know. I guess you never know. Ashley Brame. I'm tempted. to just go sit on a beach for the rest of my existence until it's so. Don't you think that you'll get tired? Like if you sit on the beach like forever until it's all over, I think you get tired. Like everything is tiring. I don't think there's an experience that's not tiring. Like you just get tired. You'd love it at first. Maybe the first few days you'd love it there, but it will get to a point where you're just miserable. The boot says I used to smoke a lot of weed, lots of weed, and stopped last year. Because I remember Joe Rogan said something like that. Like he used to smoke weed and he used to not remember his dreams. S- did you remember your dreams before you started smoking weed? Universal nature. What do you guys think about self? Oh, yeah, that's a good question. When good dogs do bad things. The one time I experienced sleep paralysis was in a prison cell. My horizontal and vertical of my vision was twisted 45 degrees for a few seconds. That's crazy. Why were you in prison? What did you do? So you experienced sleep paralysis only once in your life. Abhilash Madhav M. Hey Benedictine, have you looked into Efilism? I believe it's the next level of understanding and acceptance of this brutal world of suffering. Yeah, I've looked into it. Yeah, there are a lot of good points that atheists will make, but I think if you are an atheist, uh, like you need to not only look at things one way, right? Because I think some philosophies, if you only look at things one way, they can be dangerous. But if you look at things in every way, then that makes sense. Because in a way, I'm an atheist, but I try to look like I don't try to just focus on that aspect of myself. Like, like I try to look at everything. But yeah, I have looked into it. I've never really spoken about it on this channel, but I've looked into it. Nick KP, the word NPC is just created to dehumanize other people and treat them as less than. I don't think so. I don't think so. Like who created it? And like here's the thing: you can dehumanize people. Like we dehumanize everyone in all lots of ways, right? You can say someone is dumb. You can say someone is ugly. With people, you know, insult each other in many different ways. So feeling like there might be nine-player characters in this reality, that's not dehumanizing anyone, especially if you're not calling them directly and say you're an NPC. You're just trying to deal with reality, that this reality that you find yourself in, and you ask yourself, what if there are non-player characters? What if there are some people who are not conscious, and I'm thinking that everyone is conscious, right? So you're not necessarily dehumanizing anyone. You're just trying to figure out what is really going on in this realm that you have found yourself in. Matoric says you once said you wouldn't want to live past 50 in a video. You said you wouldn't want to get old. Do you intend on self-deliverance? I doubt you will want to die. Eh, Now, yeah, it's something like I wanna make a video where I'm talking about that specifically. But yeah, that's I do wish that by the time I get around that age, um I feel like I have learned, and I'm ready in every way, and the world itself is also has made it easy for someone to just say that, yeah, I'm next. You know what I mean? Like, I do wish that we could reach that level as a society. And looking at the rate where everything is changing, the rate that everything is changing, maybe that's possible. Maybe we can reach a point where we kind of like normalize that. Motivate says, what do you think about drinking a few big beers every night to get relief from life? I don't see anything wrong with that, man. As long as you have money to do that, and yeah, yeah. I don't. To be honest, I don't see anything wrong with that. The reason why I wouldn't do that, first is money. Secondly, I still have to do this. I still have to make videos. I still want to think about what's going on, and uh, I feel like I'm still young. You know, you know what I mean. Like, I don't want to have health issues if I overdo it and all that. But yeah, I don't really see anything wrong with drinking. If you want to be drinking. When good dogs do bad things, say I try not to think about myself too much. I was in prison for commercial burglary. How long? For how long? Truth seeker, weed has a profound impact on dreaming from my perspective. Yeah, I've heard people talk about that. So yeah, it must be true, especially weed smokers. Motivik says, can you talk about how to stop regrets and past mistakes and missed opportunities? You have to understand that we don't really have free will. We don't really have free will. We are just victims of causality. So you couldn't have made a different decision, right? The decision that you made is a decision that you could have made. You see, it's just that now you know something that you didn't know before you made the decision, and you feel like you want to go back and change it, but you couldn't. You couldn't have made a different decision. You don't have free will. Like, you've every decision that you've made led to that happening, and it feels like you made it but you didn't. It's causality, it's cause and effect. You made a decision because you thought what you thought, nothing else. No new ideas, no better ideas came into your mind at the time. You felt the way that you felt. So I don't think you should regret anything. The only thing that you can think is, what can I do now with this present moment? When I make mistakes, the first thing that I'll be thinking is, okay, how do I change things? I made this mistake. How, sometimes I can make a mistake and want to make it look like it wasn't a mistake. I'm very good at that. Like, okay, I made a very stupid mistake. How do I turn things around here? Like, I'm very good at that. Like, if I react to something because of anger, and I'm like, okay, that was stupid. I have to come up with some stupid explanation that make it seem like I didn't react out of anger. Try to fix the mistake right away. Like this. Yeah, sometimes you just gotta fix your mistakes. There's no going to the past, man. So figure out what you can do now to fix your mistakes than to live in regret. Player 001, definitely real NPCs. You can test them out. Your friends, family, and relationships. Yeah, man, it's hard to think that no NPCs. You can tell yourself that, yeah, NPCs don't exist. Blah blah blah. You dehumanizing other humans, but you deal with other humans, and you're like, I'm not sure, man. I'm not sure if everyone is real. And you have the right to think the way that you think, because you're trying to figure out what's going on. You're not trying to dehumanize anyone. You're not trying to make anyone feel less than what they are. Guys, let's keep on liking this live so that many people can find it. The more you like, the more YouTube suggests this live to other people. So let's keep on liking this live. I think we got 64 likes, so let's keep it going. Thanks for the likes. Heaven, I'm afraid to tell you what to talk about because they will probably shut the live down. Yeah, but I told you that we will create a Discord, so maybe we will talk about some of the things that you are afraid to talk about. Snake KP says, "What if everyone is conscious, just not everyone thinks the same?" That's a good question. What if your blue is not my blue? What if when you see a human, other people, what you are seeing is not what other people are seeing, right? Maybe other people are seeing someone like Piccolo from Dragon Ball Z, and you're seeing someone like me, and you're seeing the same thing, but you're seeing it differently. Like, yeah, but why would it be like that? Boozy. I think social media prove this is a whole rim because people never believe personal experiences. Social media allow us to experience other people's lives all around the world. Yeah, true, and it allows us to reveal ourselves more. I remember there was this trend in South Africa, maybe all over the world, not all over the world, but yeah, there was this trend on TikTok where people will post their parents and post themselves. Like, this is what my parents produced. So this lady, she posted her parents and then she posted herself. She was a bit, I don't know if I should say overweight, whatever. And the whole country dissed her. The whole country, like everyone was saying negative things about her, and she ended up exiting. And then people started to feel sorry for her, blah blah blah. Blah. But for people to even do that, that tells you who they are. Because in the real world, maybe people won't do that, but not really because they're not thinking that. They don't want to say that or do that. They're afraid of the consequences. Because in public, if you're going to disrespect someone like that, you're gonna maybe like they will respond back. Maybe there's going to be consequences, but because there's no consequences on social media, people be disrespecting one another. They're showing you their true colors, I guess. Joker, life is vain and materialistic. We live in short existence and then we are gone. One cruel joke. Even if you are at the top, it comes to an end. Yeah, it doesn't matter how well you're doing. That's what sucks. But yeah, thank you all guys for joining the live. Um, we're gonna do it again on Thursday. Yeah, we're gonna do it again on Thursday around the same time. Um, like the video, share the video. I'll upload another one later on. This video that I recorded, also one of my favorite. Thank you guys.